Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I want to talk about, once again, the New York Rangers, and not trying to do it so much biasly, but mainly because the most traction that I've gotten on my my YouTube channel so far has been my video on Igor Shesterkin and the overall situation with the Rangers goaltending. So because of that reason and how much it's blown up versus my other videos, which I found kind of surprising with some others, I wanted to direct this on the Rangers once again, and I'm not going to be talking about just the Rangers because I don't want to narrow my audience to one crowd. Even though I am a Rangers fan, I just don't think that would be best for my channel versus me just talking about the Rangers, when if I talk about every team, I feel that'll just reach a bigger and broader audience. But with that being said, I did want to talk about the Rangers today, and if you haven't seen any videos, please go check them out because a lot of them haven't gotten nearly as many views as my one on Igor Shesterkin. And I know that that is in part because of the fact that he was just called up by the Rangers and he has been playing really well in his first couple games. But also just harder for me to get myself out there. My videos aren't popping up in suggestions and other things at YouTube or externally with other sources. So if you're interested in any other videos on my channel, please go check them out. Subscribe if you're interested in this kind of content, consistent NHL content on an almost daily basis. If not daily, then basically every other day. So with that being said, regarding the New York Rangers, you obviously read the title of this. You saw the players especially that I have on the thumbnail. I'm going to be talking about all of them. And the Rangers' highest scoring defense in the NHL. They're first, like I just said, in the NHL and scoring by defensemen. They overall their offense is 10th in the NHL, and defensively speaking, they have the 6th worst defense. But with that being said, this Rangers team has done great offensively, and their defense has been a huge part of it. So while they are averaging to allow 3.34 goals against, they're averaging to score goals at a pace of 3.35. So it's pretty interesting. I just wanted to throw that out there because, yes, they have had problems in their own zone. There's without question about that. But overall, the amount of offensive contributions that this Rangers team has been getting from their defense has been by far the best in the league. They're the only team in the NHL with at least 3 defensemen with 20 points or more throughout this first half of the season, 40 games or so, and very close to having 4 guys with at least 20 points, with Brady Shea only 2 points behind at 20. So I'm going to talk about the Rangers and their key contributors on defense to this offensive success, and some individual statistics about each of them and what is most fascinating about the type of season that they're having and just how important their contributions from their defense has been. So starting off with the man who had a 5-point game the other night against the New Jersey Devils, single-handedly beat them with having 5 points on the 5 goals the Rangers scored, winning 5-3 over the Devils, and that is Tony DeAngelo. Tony DeAngelo obviously gets a lot of talk. A lot of people label him as controversial. A lot of people label him as loving him or pretty much hating him. It all goes in part with his beliefs out of being a hockey player a lot of times. And while I do not think that is right at all, I don't think that a fan of a team should want a player to be moved from the team or boycott the team strictly because of a player's political or any type of belief they have. I just don't understand that at all. I really find that to be childish, in my opinion. But that has been the case with Tony DeAngelo. He's been a controversial player since he came in the league 4 seasons ago. And he fell in his draft because he was a really coveted prospect coming into his draft, and I believe 2015. And he fell quite a bit in the first round because of some things that he got in his juniors that I'm sure he regrets doing. And I'm not going to get into detail about all that, but he has been known to have anger management problems and, just basically not have a filter, feel free to say what he thinks. And while he's perfectly fine in doing so, obviously there's a line that he shouldn't cross, that he has crossed in the past, but he has been a much better person and player, in my opinion, since then. Especially within the past year or two, he has really come a long way. But so let's talk about Tony DeAngelo. Tony currently is 5th in the AHL in points by defenseman with with 36 points in 43 games. That includes 11 goals and 25 assists for a plus minus of +7. So he hasn't been nearly as much of a liability on defense as he has been throughout his career, and he's only going to continue to get better, and he is on arguably the best contract a team could have for a guy of his point production. He's only making a little bit over 900K this season, and then he'll be an RFA at the end of the season. So the Rangers have all the control when it comes to Tony, which is very interesting going forward what they will do with him. But for now, Tony has been fantastic for the Rangers. He has obviously had some games where he hasn't looked great defensively, but overall he has not been nearly as much of a liability, like I said, as some other players on the team. And just overall, within the past couple of seasons, he has progressed tremendously. Tony has already surpassed his career high in points that he made last season with 30 points in 61 games. He's on pace to have 55, 60-plus points this season. He could very well go down into the top 3, if not maybe even first in points scoring by a defenseman this season in the whole NHL. So it's truly remarkable the pace he's on and what he's doing on special teams, meaning the power play, and on 5-on-5 has been huge for this Rangers team. And like I said, they've had their problems defensively, but at least him, including other defensemen, have been able to make up for maybe some defensive errors in making a game by putting up the points. So as long as they are able to do that, then I don't view it as a huge problem, as long as it is something that only continues to get better in the sense of offensive production and more reliability on defense. So Tony has been fantastic, and in the game, his last game he played with 5 points, he tied Brian Leetch's record on the New York Rangers for most points in a game by a defenseman with 5, and now is the 6th Rangers defenseman in their history to have a hat trick and to have at least one hat trick, and he's the first defenseman since Brian Leetch on the New York Rangers to have a hat trick. So very impressive stats. Can't say enough good things. I've been a huge fan of Tony since he came to the Rangers, and I am loving the progression he has had and just the upward trajectory he has been on in being a better overall player. And who knows just how dominant he can be offensively. We have seen it now. What is it? How high can he go? That is the question. And we're going to find that out throughout the rest of the season and years going forward. But right behind him, well, not right behind him, he's quite far ahead in points, but second with the Rangers in points by defenseman. Another key contributor to their success is the rookie Adam Fox. Adam Fox has been fantastic for the Rangers. I've talked about him in previous videos. If you haven't seen him, go check it out. But in my opinion, Fox has been the best overall defenseman on this New York Rangers team. For a rookie, he looks unbelievably poised out there, is so composed with the puck, and he has 24 points on the season in 43 games. That includes 5 goals and 19 assists, and has a plus-minus of +4. So another one where he's not in the negative, so that's always good to see. He's currently 7th in rookies in regards to overall point scoring, and he's 3rd in rookie defensemen, only trailing the likes of Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. So not bad company if you ask me. So Fox with this trajectory could very well become a more prominent consideration to win the Calder Trophy this season. I don't really think he'll get there given how good Cale Makar is among other rookies, but he's not too far behind. He's just about 10 points, not even. So if he gets on a run points-wise, gets a little streak going, who knows? Things can happen. But Fox has been fantastic for the Rangers team on the power play as well, along with Tony DeAngelo at times on the power play or on 5-on-5. So really, they haven't been a problem with each other either. Them both being offensively talented defensemen on the right side, really haven't butted heads at all. It seems they really seem to be enjoying their company and helping their team find success this season. So Fox has been great. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for him with this New York Rangers team. And right behind Fox in points for defense on the Rangers is Jacob Trouba. Jacob Trouba obviously came over from the Winnipeg Jets. I'm not going to get too much into that, but he signed, going into this season with the Rangers, he signed a 8-year, $8 million deal. Huge deal. Has he been living up to it? No, in my opinion. I think that defensively he needs to be better on a nightly basis, but he still has been pretty solid for the Rangers and is putting up the points as expected. He had a 50-point season last year with the Winnipeg Jets, and he's on pace for 40 points this season, which really isn't bad given the fact of how offensively talented this Rangers defense is. So he's not expected to be that offensive guru on the back end, to be the power play quarterback. He doesn't need to be that because the Rangers have many options. So he has contributed on the power play, though, that is true, and on the penalty kill, and on 5-on-5. Everything he has done. Trouba has 21 points, like I said, in 43 games. That includes 6 goals and 15 assists, and has a plus-minus of -4. So obviously that is something that he needs to continue to work on. But overall, I definitely like the route he has been going in since how he started from the beginning of the season. He's definitely looked better in my opinion. And he's 8th in the AHL in hits by a defenseman with 112, which is nice to see. Him being physical, big body, he's using it. That's always great. And he's also 26th in the AHL in defenseman as well. In block shots with 77. So he's been putting his body on the line, and those things kind of tend to get unrecognized on a nightly basis if you're watching games, especially when you have big name guys contributing offensively, and if, say, Trouba makes one big mistake on defense, that's all you can tend to notice throughout the game. So Trouba, he has definitely been getting better. I still expect to see more from him, but I'm happy where he is at currently with the New York Rangers. And then 4th in scoring on defense for the Rangers, and this is the last defenseman out of the Rangers defenseman I'll be talking about, because after him, no one even comes close in regards to point production. These are the 4 key contributors to the Rangers having the highest scoring defense in the league, and that ends with Brady Skjei. Brady Skjei really hasn't lived up to the potential since his rookie season. He had 39 points in his rookie season 3 seasons ago, and since then he has had his last 2 seasons only 25 points each, so not great. But this season currently has 18 points in 43 games. He is 42 games, and he is on pace for a 40-point season, right around where he was his rookie year. So that's great to see him putting up the points once again. And, that's really all I have to say about him. I'm really happy with how he's played. I want to say the last 20 or so games especially. Skjei is one of those players that I feel very up in the air about still. Not sure if he is a good fit for the Rangers' future as they continue this rebuild/retool, especially with all the young talent they have as defensive prospects that are going to be coming in within the next couple seasons. So Skjei, I think, is a very solid top 6 defenseman, good top 4 defenseman. Do I think he's a top pairing defenseman? No. He has not proven that, and I don't think he will ever be, and that's perfectly fine. He's better off being a second-line defenseman as the left side of the defense, and we'll see what happens with the Rangers if they have a good prospect like Keandre Miller possibly be that next man up to come in and lead the role on the top-line defense on the left side in years going forward. But we have yet to see that, so that'll be interesting to think about. But overall, this Rangers defense as a whole has definitely been flawed. There's no question. But what they have done offensively this year is something that the Rangers have never done in their history. They can very well go down with this season having 4 defensemen at either close to, if not already having 40 points. That is absolutely insane. Never heard of something like that, honestly. And if something like that were to happen, that's fantastic. And all I would hope is that if something like that were to happen, that doesn't mean that's from them pinching up in the play way too much and giving up odd man chances to the opposing team, which is something the Rangers tend to do on an almost nightly basis. So that is something that they need to continue to work on. If they get more reliable in their own zone and still contribute offensively, then things are going to be smooth sailing from here. So this rebuild has been very interesting. I don't know how many of these pieces are going to be with the Rangers in the future, but you're looking at pretty much their core group going forward, and the offensive production they've had on the back end has been phenomenal for this Rangers team that has desperately needed some offense besides having the likes of Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, and Chris Kreider. With the amount of rookies that they have on offense, like Kaapo Kakko, Brett Howden, and just not necessarily rookies, but just young forwards, Brett Howden, Philip Hedl, Brendan Lemieux. The list goes on and on. This team is the youngest team in the league, and having this production from the defense is only going to help the team overall and help the offense, the forwards, one way or another. So that is really all I have to say about this. I thought this would be a good topic to talk about. And regarding the Rangers again, seeing how much traction this video gets, because I obviously love talking about my favorite team. They're the team I can be most passionate about talking about. But I don't want to narrow down my audience to just Rangers fans though either. I would like to talk about as many teams as I possibly can, and I hope to not be really biased. Now, while I picked them, I thought this was a good topic with the Rangers being the highest scoring defense. It's not like I'm just throwing something random out there. So that is going to conclude this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't seen previous videos about the Rangers or previous videos overall that I posted, please go check them out. Been really happy with some of the feedback that I've been starting to get from people, and just the amount of views. It is really means a lot to me, and I hope that things only continue to go upward with myself and this channel, and I would love to continue to interact with more and more people throughout on YouTube, among other things. So thank you all so much, and I will be back again in a couple days.